moderna Lena. Digidas innesuoluvatna. Hei og velkommen til Inga Sámi sida. Jeg og Lena. Og dere er nå på Hinnøya, Norges største øy. Translate?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Okay, let's try a third language. Hello and welcome to Inga Sámi sida. It's a cool, cold experience here in the Arctic. And I am Lena. And you are now on Hinnøya, the biggest island in Norway. This island is, by law, reindeer feeding ground. So in Norway, to have reindeers are protected. It is only Sami people that are allowed to own reindeers in Norway and Sweden. So that means if you want to be reindeer owners, you have to move to Finland or Russia. Or you can try to find a Sami partner that's reindeer owner. It will be a very narrow market, but it's possible. But anyhow, if you win the jackpot and find a Sami reindeer owner, you will never officially become a reindeer owner. You can help, but you will never be an owner on paper. You will never have your own mark, but if you get children, even if you adopt, your children will be reindeer owners automatically. In Norway today we have around 4,000 reindeer owners. And we have registered around 50,000 Sami people. And we have Sami people in Norway, Sweden, Finland and Russia. This area above the Arctic we call Sápmi. Sápmi or Sápmi, that's the name of the Sami country. It is not an official country. But still, since we have the status of being the indigenous population of the north, we have Sami parliaments in Norway, Sweden and Finland. And the Sami parliaments, their main objective is to make sure that the culture and the traditions lives on. And also that we take care of our environment. Very important. Because of the waning light, you know it's quite dark up here. We have to go out to see the reindeers quite shortly. But before we go there, I want to tell you a little bit about the reindeers. How many of you have met reindeers before? Yeah? Okay. Where? Finland. And you?
Yeah.
Finland too. Okay. Cool. So the reindeers we have here, even though it says that this is a reindeer farm, there are no such thing as a farm for reindeers. Reindeers are roaming freely out in the wild almost all the time. The main reason why we have them here is to keep them well fed and safe. Because in winter time, one of the biggest dangers for reindeers are avalanches. So huge masses of snow falling and killing a lot of them. And that's actually the reason why we sit here talking. It's because of a huge animal tragedy that happened 15, 16 years ago. We lost so many reindeers to avalanches that we had to bring them down here to feed them, to keep them safe. Because the main income for this family is by selling meat and products from reindeers. When I say products from reindeers, it's everything that can be made from antlers to the antlers themselves, the hide, the meat, and so on. Sami people are originally nomadic people, hunters and gatherers. Most likely, the main part of them came all the way from Mongolia and up to Arctic, Scandinavia. When they took the life of an animal, they used everything from it, out of necessity, but also out of respect for the animal. And we still do that today. The family here and 4 other families are lucky to be an owner of a private slaughterhouse. And that means that they can take care of the animals according to traditions. So that's good animal welfare. Reindeer meat is the most expensive meat that you can eat native to Norway, but it's also the most nutritious. It's the only animal walking on land that have natural omega fat in their system. It is as healthy to eat reindeer as it is to eat fat fish because of the omega fat. And we also have a lot of D vitamin in the meat. And that's very important for us that lives without sun for a couple of months during the year. Other than that, the Sámi people were put through a very hard assimilation. They were nomadic. They were following the reindeers from winter feeding grounds to summer feeding grounds and back. They were living in tent-like buildings like this, where the outer side was covered with reindeer hide and woolen carpets. And if you want to see more about how they lived 100, 200 and 500 years ago, you can go online and search for nomadic people or nomadic tribes in Siberia. And then you will get similar to how it was here. But because of the government, because of the white man said that, oh no, you have to settle. They had to settle, and they had to be more like Norwegians and Swedes and Finns. And during that time period, it was not allowed to speak Sami language. It was not allowed to sing the songs. And also, on top of that, there was a period for around 100 years that the Sámi people were not allowed to buy property. That was in the law. So the government thought they were too primitive to take care of their own property. That made a lot of people abolish their Sámi culture. They moved to another place, they changed their background, they changed their family story, they deleted their Sámi ancestry. They said they were gypsies instead of Sámis, or they took a Norwegian, Swedish or Finnish last name, and when they came to the new place, they could buy property. So I am part of that that heritage. My family didn't know that we had Sámi. And when I asked my mother, no, we're not Sámi. We have gypsy in our veins, but not Sámi. So that's the way it is with history. And you can look to all indigenous population around the world and you have similarities. Where there's room for possibility for money, often government come in and they control. So that's also happened here. Laila and her family, the ones that own, the family that owns this place, it's easy to know that they are Sámi because they have been reindeer owners for generations and generations. I will talk a little bit more about that during lunch, but now I'm going to talk just a little bit about the reindeers before we meet them. When we meet the reindeers, I want you to listen and use your eyes. Listen and use your eyes. When the reindeers walk, they make a click, click, click sound. And that's because of this. They have extra bones in their feet. They have quite large feet, but these extra bones, you can send it around, look at it, send it around. These extra bones allow them to be super flexible. So that's a plus when they are climbing in the mountains. But also, most important, in winter time, when there's a lot of snow, they spread out their nails and they have big tufts of hair between their nails and they create a snowshoe. So they walk on top of the snow. And when they're running, it looks like they're flying above the snow. Have you heard that story anywhere? Reindeers flying above the snow? It's most likely because of this, that they walk almost on top of the snow. So the Sámi look at this bone as a kind of a lucky bone, a talisman. Oh, they also use this big foot to dig for food. But to go out and dig in snow takes a lot of energy. So they have developed an extreme sense of smell. They can smell food under 1.5 meters snow. And then they go out and they dig, and they find food. And we are going to give them the type of food that they will dig for out in the wild. So, number 3 of their Arctic powers. Hello, hello. Let's see if we can make room for you. Just a second.
It's okay.
No, if you take, you can, do you mind if you're taking a chair that says in the back? Yes, thank you. There you are, sir. So these are very important for reindeers. And this is not just for show. There's a reason why they have these. They grow new one every year. And both male and female have antlers. Here, everything grows during summertime, the warm period. Well, for us it's warm. For you, not so much. So between late April, end of August, everything grows. And the first 2 months, everything has an explosive growth. So when they start growing new ones in April, May, they will grow with a speed of around up to 1.5 centimeter per day. And when they grow, they are softer, like bone, they are filled with blood, and they have a protective fur outside. They are very sensitive. And when there's hot days, and remember I say hot days, 15 degrees plus, or maybe 15 to 20 degrees, then they start flushing more blood out in the antlers. It will be cooled down and back in the body. So they use the growing antlers as a heat regulator. In the end of August, they become hard like this. And for the males, the functioning males, these are weapons then. Because now start the mating season. And for the males, all they do for 4 or 5 weeks is fight, fight, fight. For the right to be the fathers of the next generation. And the victorer, don't ask me how they do it, but each victorer, each winner, chooses around 25 females. And he keeps them hostage in a hillside or a mountain or a mountainside where he has the full view if rivals comes in or if females tries to run off. And then he uses his smell. He smells when they are pregnant. Then the job is done. They can go. So that makes us very easy for us to be reindeer herders because we know that around 95% of the females are pregnant. Now we talk October. We have come to October in the year and winter is approaching. These are too heavy to carry for the males. They are so exhausted after mating period. So these will start falling off. One by one. This is part of a skull and this is collected by a victim from an avalanche. But they will fall off like we will lose teeth or trees will fall over. But now the female is pregnant. And in a reindeer herd, when you have antlers, you are secure to get food first. And that's very important when you're pregnant, right? So the female will have her antlers throughout the entire winter until the calf is born in May. Because of the light, because of the seasons, the calves are always born in May here. So the male can dig for food, he can do the hard work, but the female comes with her antlers and, ha, I eat first, I'm maybe carrying your child. Maybe, who knows? So this is very important when we go out to meet the reindeers. We have a couple of males in the fence now that are castrated. And the castrated males, they don't lose their antlers as the other ones do. They don't have the hormones raging in their body. They will start losing their antlers after New Year's. So, when you feed them, you have to be aware where they have their antlers, because they don't care. But it's very important for you to not have purses, backpacks, straps. You have to have your zippers closed so they not get hooked in open parts or straps. Because then you might be on for quite a hard ride. No, it has never happened to any of the tourists. But it has happened to Laila, the one who's making your lunch now. She was out feeding the reindeers and she had forgotten to tuck in her silver bracelet. And it was hooked in one of these and she was dragged. And yeah, but never happened to any of the guests. The fourth thing, very, very, very important thing with the reindeers is their height. Feel what I'm sending around now. The pelt is very, very particular. Arctic animals, particular Arctic animals, have hollow hair straws. That means that they have excellent insulation. You might have learned when you come here to the Arctic, it's wise to have a lot of layers to keep warm. But another thing, try to feel if you can put your finger all the way down to the skin. It's totally impossible, because on 1 square centimeter, the size of a sugar cube, they have around 1,200 hair straws. And that's 9 to 12 times more than the average human being. And this type of structure makes them possible to live in temperatures down to -50 without any problem. -50 degrees. Today we have -10. So 5 times more colder than this. It's not possible to imagine. But if you go 4 hours from here, 3-4 hours, you're in an area where we have between 30 to 45 minus during winter in periods. Here, the maximum, absolute maximum, is -20. And that will last only for a couple of days, if we have that much. Okay. So, when we go out to feed the reindeers, they are not dangerous. They do not bite, but they get hungry. So, when you get the moss, hold it firmly in your hand. If not, they will just nick it out of your hand like this. They will come all the way close to you. There's a little one. She's only 6 months old now. She will not come close to you. She is too afraid still. Her experience with humans was when she was 2 months old. She got cut in her ears for the mark. Not a good experience, but very necessary. This is a very important tool. So let's see, who do you belong to? How should we mark him? So there are around 4,000. There are as many different combinations of earmarks that it is owners in Norway. 4,000 different combinations on 2 ears. Not a single mark is the same. So that was the first experience she had. Then she got injured for some way. We don't know how. But we had to rein her in with lasso, put her in a car and get her down here. So she's not too fond of people. But she has understand that we bring food, so she has warmed up on us. So how long, or if you want to join me in the fence, it's up to you. You don't have to come, but I would advise you to try to experience this, right? And another very, very important thing. When you leave, and if you leave the fence, make sure that the gate is always closed. Always closed. If not, I'm going to find you, I'm going to mark you. So, first thing was, when you enter the fence, we are on their premises. Keep your jackets closed. Purses and backpacks are not allowed in the fence. You can put them outside the fence if you don't want to leave them here. And always close the gate when you leave the fence. Easy rules. Okay? Are we ready?
Let's go. 你们有好像背要带去，你们放在这边 OK， 好不好？好过你们放在外面哈，小心。